Now, Martine Shepherd is the campaign coordinator for Save Our Beloved Geographe Bay in Western Australia that's fighting against those terrible offshore wind turbines. Martine has her own podcast show, Martini's Echo and Country Bites, on Edge Radio Australia, talking about environmental and rural issues, especially farming. Tell us about the latest, what's happening in Geographe Bay, and it's one of the most beautiful parts of Australia, and the thought of having thousands of turbines out there in the water just destroying the environment is just mind-boggling. What's happening?
Well, Mr. Bowen went ahead and announced that the feasibility licenses would be granted to the two proponents, EDF and EDP, which is a French and a Spanish company. ENGIE from the UK, ENGIE, is also collaborating with one of the proponents to put in approximately 266 offshore wind turbines into the Bunbury offshore region. It's hit with a whole different layer now of pushback and absolute outrage because, of course, we've had the demersal fishing ban here. And, of course, the most vital habitat for a lot of the endemic species here, because of the breeding grounds and the fact that Geographe Bay is a natural nursery area, is in these offshore wind turbine zones. So we have, been saying from the beginning that we knew that this government, especially the state, in collusion with the federal government, was going to shut down these areas so we couldn't have access to these beaches, that we couldn't have access to these oceans, because we know from all of our interviews and dealings with people overseas in the US and the UK, the damage that's been done to wild stock fisheries. Now there's investigations into the excess whale deaths. And this is a whale birthing zone. People are absolutely out of their minds. On top of that, now we've just been hit with what's happening with the diesel situation. So poor fishermen that have been battling to keep their head afloat by sort of being able to fish in other areas outside the total ban, because people don't understand that the whole demersal fishing industry has been nuked by Minister Jarvis, who owns a winery and out there promoting herself, but decided that the industry had to go without any consultation. It's no consultation, no transparency here in West Australia whatsoever.
Yeah, it's pretty bad to say the least. We have some vision at the moment, some of the beautiful wildlife in the water. A lot of people are saying, it's going to save the planet. And first of all, my humble opinion, it is not. That was all based on a lie, and it says that our education system failed us miserably. But moving on from that, what do the actual wind turbines, or as Donald Trump says, the windmills, what does it do to the environment?
Look, there's numerous things that it causes atmospheric changes. So it draws down atmospheric layers from higher altitudes and brings them down. It causes drying effects. It heats the water temperature. It changes oxygen levels on the surface of the water. And then there's what's happening under the water, which is absolute devastation. So never in any kind of ecology-based science that I have ever been a part of, worked for the Department of Environment, studied marine science. So never do we cause habitat destruction to improve the environment in any way, shape or form. So we know that by causing environmental destruction, by cutting through vital limestone reef system that's out there, as well as we're going to have massive seagrass die-off because of the dredging. These are all of the things that are actually absorbing CO2. So I don't understand that, the ocean is the biggest carbon sink on the planet. So we're causing disruption to the very systems that we don't even really comprehend, because that was never factored into this climate change hysteria science, cooked data. There's a lot of cooked data over here in WA, unfortunately. So people that would like to have that discussion, I'm saying bring it on, because at no point do we think that bringing over really dodgy technology from China, especially that, we've had blades with asbestos, we've got towers that are collapsing because they are substandard, that we want to put any of that at all in our oceans, let alone put it at risk for those things. Then we've got radar interference, and we have two aerostrips in the region that would be affected, which is Bunbury, and that has the Royal Flying Doctors going in and out of there as a part of their headquarters and a hub there. We've also got ground-based fire response that's based out of Bunbury. There's a flying school in Bunbury. All of these radar interference that the US has already determined that they do cause radar interference and scatter. In 2024, Sweden cancelled 13 projects off its coastline because they know that they could not protect their people, their nation from missile attack and invading forces if that happened at all. So the fact that there's radar interference, then we're talking about just the safety of those things, because we do know there's blade breakages, so there's never been determined a safe buffer zone. We could go on and on for hours, and anyone who thinks that going in and destroying vital habitat that is about biodiversity retention or allowing species to recover, interrupting also the Lewin Current, which is vital to this whole region, including wineries, because those equatorial currents that come down the western coastline here is the only one in the world. And this is the only offshore wind project that would ever be put over a reef system. And they're willing to sacrifice that for foreign greed and profits. But we've got Queen Mary over here from Denmark drumming up business, which was horrifying for us to see that in the last week or so.
Yeah, and we should always take note of visiting dignitaries, Queen Mary.
Of course.
No, what's his name? Prince Siegfried or what's
Frederick.
Frederick, I knew that was
King
right.
Frederick.
That's his neighbour. But it's it's pretty wild over the. I mean, but it's all about money, isn't it? It's not about common sense. It's not about doing good for the community. What good? Okay, what does it do? Like, let's be even here, even keeled. What good does it do for the local community? It must do some good.
We've had a lot of discussions about what it would do as far as in the destruction of what the pros and cons would be. We can't think of really anything, because the impact on tourism alone, which is the whole region is a tourist mecca. I mean, every weekend you have the massive migration from Perth and the city areas to come down and enjoy this beautiful, pristine blue zone, which is the blue zone is the detox, the cleansing, the area that people come to relax. And I can tell you right now, with the infrasound and the impact that these offshore wind turbines are going to have, we're going to lose our blue zone. We're going to lose the integrity of that beauty, and you cannot put a price on that. You said it before, this is an area that when cruise ships come in, we've interviewed people on those cruise ships, and when they've heard about the offshore wind turbines, and people from European nations went, oh, no, don't do that. They've ruined all the coastlines all through the UK and places in Europe. He's like, why would you do that to this place? And I'm like, it's not our choice. From the beginning, we were never heard by this government. So Mr. Bowen and Mr. Watt, who's the Minister for Environment, I mean, these are going to be things on their watch that are going to be tabled in history as the most diabolical assaults on natural systems that we've ever seen.
Yeah, if you look at Watt and Bowen, without being cruel and unkind to the education system, there's another example on how it did not work. Because you just look at them, and with we have Stephen Nowakowski on. He was on, I think, Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday this week, talking about the Great Dividing Range, on what they're doing to that. With thousands upon thousands of wind turbines and just destroying the environment. Once the environment, once this natural beauty has been destroyed, it's nigh impossible to bring that back, isn't it?
Totally. And the thing is, it's beauty is one aspect of it, but it's and that's on land, but the complex interdynamics of the water system, especially in this area, because it is so unique in the whole world. It should have been classified as a biodiversity hotspot, and the fact that they've done a lot of seagrass regeneration and planting, it's cost millions and millions of dollars to reestablish seagrasses, but then we're going to come in and destroy them. To me, it's like, how do you justify those actions? There's no science that is proving that it's going to be good for the environment. You can't quantify how much we are going to have to keep destroying nature for the sake of these type of green renewables. And I am all for improving the way that we have an impact on the environment to minimize it as much as possible and to create better technology. But this is not better technology. This is old technology that's failing. It's an intermittent energy system. It's not clean. It's not green. The amount of CO2 that's used to actually, if that's the premise that it's good for the environment, the CO2 needed to create them, to ship them here, who's going to be shipping in this environment anyway with the price of diesel? I can't say that that is even going to be economically viable. So good luck with that, Queen Mary, for drumming up business. You better provide your diesel as well from Denmark. But I spoke to a Danish gentleman 2 weeks ago, and he said they have destroyed their fisheries there. Do not, under any circumstances, stop pushing back, because they are covering up a lot of lies of the destruction. And this is on our watch, and regardless of who we are and what walk of life we come from, we come with a united voice, whether we're, a family business, we're just residents, we're people who just love to walk on the beach, we're fishermen, we're, whale tour guides. All of these people come together, and we have a very, very strong WA alliance now against offshore wind turbines, because you can't justify shutting a whole industry of fisheries and saying, oh, they're near extinction, but then go in and destroy their habitat with offshore wind turbines. Those are juxtaposed conversations, and it's total hypocrisy, which really does indicate that these WEF puppets have sold us out to an ideology and agenda from GOA, the UN, the whole lot, kit and caboodle. They sold us out for this, and we're going to push back until we stop it, Mike. I can tell you now.
We could go on, but we have gone 20 minutes over time. So I have a couple of engineering people here waving at me and threatening to dismember me, because it is Friday. And we need to continue this, because I want to talk to you next time, if you could make yourself available, about the Scott River Wind Farm, these places, about local politicians. What are they doing? I would imagine that many aren't doing a whole lot, because they also went to the same school as Chris Bowen and Murray Watt went to. But if somebody wanted to make contact with you and get involved, because this is not an environmental greedy thing. This is something about our future. It's going to do no good at all, and whether you like it or not, the idea of renewables and climate change and stuff, it just is an indication that our entire education system has gone south and is not working. It is complete lies. So if somebody wanted to get hold of you, and it doesn't mean we don't look after our planet, because we should. We should look after our backyard, but some of these are just nuts. We're going to destroy the world to save it, and it don't make any sense. Martine, how does someone get hold of you or your organisation to be part of a very good movement and a consensus of opinion that's hoping to sway government?
If people are on Save Our Beloved Geographe Bay, they can find that on Facebook. That's a huge community we have there. So it's hashtag Save Our Beloved Geographe Bay. You should find those posts, or just look under Save Our Beloved Geographe Bay. Also on Martini's Eco and Country Bites on Facebook. They'll be able to find me, connect through that way. And if they're wanting to connect to the community against offshore wind turbines, as well as Scott River and other projects that are trying to go ahead, even keep Kalbarri beautiful, we will do our best to connect you and get you to see that WA is really being thrown under the bus with Victoria about these offshore wind and this green renewables garbage.
Now, you heard our guest before, Trevor Hold, because you popped in early, and you would have heard about some delicious wines. What are you doing for the weekend? Are you partaking in a few drops?
I'm working, actually. I have my own business, so wineage doesn't quite go until the job's done, Mike. So maybe I'm more a bit of a go and have a cocktail more than wine.
Some of those, they all work.
These days, it's like I'd like to do the damage just all in one glass, if you know what I mean.
Only one. I admire you for your intestinal fortitude, as they would say. But no, we've got to have a second. It's always better. But they say if you enjoy the third more than the first and second, then you have a problem. Martine Shepherd, great chatting. We'll do this again hopefully next week, and we can talk about the other areas. It is a serious problem. This is not what should be happening to this country. Doesn't mean that we're raving lunatics, with signs, but we do need to look after our environment, because once it's gone, and the damage it will do, all based on a lie, is just horrendous. Martine, thank you very much. This has been the Country Telegraph for this week. Thank you so much for your time. The background, by the way, is Tully, which is not far from Mission Beach, in fact, and I keep telling my wife I would love to move there, but the wife says, on your sweet Nelly, you're not going to go there. But maybe for a holiday. So Tully is a great part of the world, a great part of Queensland. This is a great country, a country that we need to look after those on the land. We need to have better government, look after the environment, but don't go nuts with it. And be kind to your neighbours, to those at the supermarket or whatever, because if you're going through some guff or some crap, they are too. We need to be a little more tolerant. Thank you so much for being our guest. To all of our guests, thank you so much for being part of the show. To our audience, thank you so much. Don't forget, go to Facebook. How do they do that? They go to follow us on Facebook and like us, and same thing with YouTube. We do need your likes and your follows and your subscriptions, just to make this thing grow, because it's all about farming. It's all about rural, regional and outback Australia. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.